Both Smile and Smile 2, the psychological supernatural horror movies from writer and director Parker Finn, center around seemingly innocent victims who are cursed by an evil entity that stalks and ultimately forces them to meet a gruesome end. Both chapters of the hit horror franchise are built upon strong performances from their lead actresses, Sosie Bacon and Naomi Scott, respectively, and some of the best executed jump scares in modern horror. However, by the ending of Smile 2, there are still many questions surrounding the entity that plagues the central characters. Heavy with themes of trauma, grief, and addiction, the Smile franchise does a tremendous job in providing just enough background information about the evil entity at its center, while still leaving much of it unexplained. The sequel smartly, and somewhat surprisingly, did very little to elaborate on the entity's backstory from the first movie, contributing to Smile 2's stellar Rotten Tomatoes debut. That means that some of the most important elements of the entity and how it terrifies and ultimately kills its victims requires explanation. The known history of the Smile curse. Characters from both movies have tracked it back in time. While the true nature of the entity remains mysterious, characters in both Smile and Smile 2 were able to track the chain of deaths around it to discover its pattern of behavior and timeline from infection to death. The ER nurse that Naomi Scott's character Skye communicates with in Smile 2, Morris, Peter Jacobson, mentions that he managed to track it back through at least 8 victims, including his brother. He briefly lists a few, which include both Kyle Gallner's Joel and Sosie Bacon's Rose from the original Smile. In the original Smile, Kyle Gallner's Joel, as a police officer, is able to track a chain of suicides back with accompanying photos and security videos. Each victim of the Smile curse saw another person commit a ghastly suicide in front of them, in methods ranging from stabbing themselves with garden shears and slicing their own throat with glass to other more inventive means. It operates like a parasite, feeding on a person's fear and trauma until it has mentally broken them, at which time it latches onto a new host. How the Smile entity passes from one person to the next. Any potential host needs to witness a specific traumatic event. Someone forces Skye Riley to smile in Smile 2. The entity feeds on trauma, and seems to target people who already have trauma in their past, or present, as its victims. In order for the curse to pass from one person to another, the new host needs to witness the currently cursed host die, usually in some graphic manner. That creates the trauma that the entity feeds on, allowing it to discard the dead host and jump to its new one. While the original Smile initially made it seem like it required a suicide to occur in front of a new host, it is later revealed, and confirmed in Smile 2, that it can transfer after a new host witnesses any method of death as long as it's traumatic. The trauma is the key. Watching a person pass away in their sleep theoretically wouldn't allow the curse to pass, it needs to be something shocking that will scar the witness. That explains the entity's penchant for gruesome suicides. It can create the traumatic event that it needs. How long someone with the Smile curse will live for. Death comes shockingly fast to each host. Sosie Bacon wearing headphones in with someone behind her in Smile. Both Smile and Smile 2 note that death typically comes within a week once a person is infected by the Smile curse, but that doesn't necessarily mean a person will last for 7 days. It seems that most victims actually end up dying within at least 4 days, as it only takes that long for the entity to completely break the person's mind with its horrifying visions and ever-smiling manifestations. It's difficult to ever pin down a precise time, as the audience is typically seeing things from the main character's viewpoint, which is usually distorted by the entity. How the Smile curse chain can be broken. There are several theories, but none have been carried out successfully. Sosie Bacon in Smile. Rose and Joel actually managed to track down someone who managed to break the curse in Smile, or at least, he found a way to pass it along to someone else. They visit convicted murderer Robert Talley, who tells them that his murder was actually the path that saved him from the Smile curse. By killing a person in front of a witness, the entity passed from him and latched onto that witness. The curse was not permanently broken in that instance, but it was at least passed along to a new person.